Good afternoon. Thanks for coming out. We're going to hear some comments from Steve Sullivan, spelled just like it sounds. He's Eversource's president of Connecticut Electric Operations. Okay, Steve?
Thanks, Mitch. Good afternoon. Just want to echo Mitch's thanks for coming out in this pre-storm cold. Just like many of you, we've been tracking this storm all week. It's been a very dynamic storm, I would say, difficult to track, competing models, but the models, they do seem to now be coming into agreement, and they pretty much are all saying, we are going to get a significant event here in Connecticut. We're preparing for whatever the storm may bring, and it looks now like it's going to be quite a bit of snow, maybe more than what we had originally anticipated. On the plus side, it does look like it's going to be dry snow, and the dry snow should cause less damage to the trees, and it's the trees that really cause the damage to our system. So we're counting on that. The storm, if it wobbles a little bit more to the west and we get a little bit wetter snow, a little bit of that stickier snow, if you will, we could have some more outages. At midnight tonight, we plan to declare what we call a level 5 ERP. That's our emergency response plan. What that means is that we're anticipating that up to 125,000 customers could be affected by this storm, and that it could take us 1 to 3 days for that response. But we do have significant resources already on the ground. As I said, we've been monitoring this storm all week. We had to make the call as early as Monday. When we saw the path of this storm, it could affect anywhere from the mid-Atlantic all the way up to coastal Canada. We decided to get out in front of this. We started hiring crews on Monday. They've been arriving as early as Wednesday. The last contingents are coming in today, so they're all going to be set. So bottom line, by the time the storm starts, we're going to have 600 line crews on the property. We're going to have 300 tree crews on the property. We're pre-positioning those around the state. We're weighted towards the east, where we think both the winds and the snow are expected to be the highest. We also have a highly trained and skilled team of folks to manage these resources. So we have teams of dispatchers, engineers, supervisors to manage these crews and manage our system. We've also been moving our equipment, so poles, cross arms, wires, transformers, other large pieces of equipment. We're moving that around the state out to our service centers so that it's close to the crews, close to where we might see damage, and we can access it much easier. These high winds around the state, especially in the southeast, they could bring down trees, they likely will bring down limbs, and that can be what causes the power outages. That same snow and wind, and especially the combination of those two, that will make driving difficult. So our ability to get around the state, we do ask for people to have patience on that. We need to get out and drive through this snow, and then once we get to the site, our line workers, we're asking them to go 40 feet up in the air in those same conditions, the cold, the snow, the wind, and make repairs to a high voltage electric system. And again, I think that same snow is going to keep the state DOT and the municipal DPWs are going to keep them busy out in front of us trying to plow those roads. We've been reaching out to our customers, we've been reaching out to community leaders, we've been encouraging them to prepare, make all the preparations that they can make. And we encourage our customers to be prepared, have a storm kit, batteries, water, food supplies, any medications that you might need. And in advance of the storm, power up all of your devices, power up your phones, power up your tablets, get those ready to go. Our website is another good tool with a lot of information on there with tips for customers, and they should be able to access that as well. Any down wires, stay away from any down wires. Assume that it's an energized wire. Stay away from it. Immediately call 911 to report that wire. Outages, reach out to Eversource.com and report those outages. And as I said, we'll respond as quickly as we can. So again, in summary, we've been monitoring for this storm. We've been preparing for this storm. We have a significant number of resources that are already on the ground, ready to respond as quickly as we can. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Steve, State DOT was one of the things they were saying. They were sort of tempering people's expectations for snow removal. They're dealing, like a lot of people, with some outages, staffing outages and shortages, some of it due to COVID. So how
Yeah, it's a good question. We're very fortunate. We've been encouraging our employees to get vaccinated, and they've responded very well. So we actually have very high percentage of our employees have been vaccinated. If you go back a few weeks, we were experiencing quite a few outages and quarantines due to COVID, but that's come back around. And at this point in time, I would say there's no significant effect on our resources or our ability to respond to the storm.
And we've also been hearing about supply chain shortages.
Yeah.
Is there any equipment or anything like that that you can't get your hands on?
Yeah. Again, very good question. There are supply chain issues, but that for us is more of a long-term issue. We have plenty of supplies on hand to handle this level of storm and beyond.
Can you talk about communication? That's been a difficult issue in the past with system failures and trying to communicate with customers so that they know what's going on and when they're going to have power restored. What's happening with that and what's better this time?
Yeah. Again, good question, so let me say this about that. You know, we've put a lot of different policies and procedures into place. So, for instance, we have the town liaisons that are out working directly with municipalities. We also have a group that we put together called Public Safety Specialists. So we've peeled off a number of crews, and we have those dedicated to really focus on the blocked roads. They work with the tree crew. They work with the towns. The towns now have a web portal where they can access themselves and put in their priorities, and we're able to see those priorities, and our town liaisons are able to link those priorities with our outage management system so they know where our crews are. In addition to that, we've gone out, we've talked to all the towns, and we've talked to them about what we call a single point of contact. So the towns, just like us, they're running a big operation. They have a lot of priorities. They have a lot of competing priorities. They've agreed to bring that together into a single point of contact, and that funnels to our single point of contact, and we believe we'll be able to stay in lockstep with them.
I know you brought in quite a few crews. I see the parking lot at Sheridan there in Rocky Hill. That's always a point, right? And
Yep.
a lot of them are from Canada. Was it hard finding crews because of the fact that, I mean, the whole Northeast, this whole area is going to get bumped?
Yeah. So let me say this about that. As I said, when these storms come up, and just as you said, it can affect the entire East Coast, including into Canada. It can become a little bit like an arms race, but we jumped out early. So as early as Monday, we reached out well beyond our area. And as I said, those crews, they started arriving Wednesday. More of them arrived yesterday. The last contingents are coming in today. And again, just want to emphasize, we're looking at having 600 line crews, 300 tree crews, and we're ready to go.
Can you gauge people's expectation as far as how quickly you can get crews to respond? I mean, obviously you can't put anyone in danger and have them going out in the middle of the storm, so explain kind of how you have to wait
Yeah.
for that out.
Again, I think it's probably going to be more the roads that are the issue. So, you know, our trucks, you can see them behind me, they have to go out, they have to drive through, whether it's 12 inches of snow or 18 inches of snow. So to some degree, we are reliant to some degree on the towns and the DOT getting out to plow those roads. Then, as you allude to, when we get there, our crews actually have to go up in those buckets. But we do send the crews out in the storm. They are trained professionals. When they get to the site, they assess, you know, are the conditions such that I can go up in the bucket? And as I say, they're highly trained, they're highly motivated to do that. In addition, if we have down wires and they're actually blocking a road, there's a lot we can do from the ground. So we have equipment where we can sectionalize off that line, de-energize it, and then from the ground, our line workers can test, de-energize, ground it, and move the wire out of the way. So even during the storm, we will be responding, but to your point, with these heavy snow conditions, with the blowing blizzard-like conditions, driving, so the time it takes our line workers to get there will take a little bit longer than normal. And then when they get there, just the mere fact of working in howling winds with that snow, it does take each individual job a little bit longer. So, you know, we would appreciate if customers would have patience. The flip side of that, as I said, we have a lot of crews. We know that it's cold. We know people need their lights back on. And, you know, we're motivated to do everything we can to do that quickly.
You said 125,000 possibly without power. Is that a long period of time or hard to say?
So again, that's kind of, I'm basing that off of our ERP levels. At an ERP 5, we can have up to 125,000 customers out, and then that would take us 1 to 3 days to respond. So we're in that range for this storm right now.
You ready?
We are.
What are you hearing about wind strength? I know New London County's under a blizzard warning. Is that a focus area?
Yeah, again, the models originally were a little bit all over the map, but they are coming into pretty good agreement that we will see across the entire state 25 to 35 miles per hour sustained winds, widespread 45 mile per hour gusts, and then down in that southeast corner, as you just referred to, the potential for 55, maybe even 60 mile per hour gusts. So as I mentioned earlier, when we pre-positioned the crews across the state, we were heavily weighted towards the east, both that southeast corner that will get the combination of snow and wind, but also the rest of the east. Even the northeast looks like they might take the heaviest brunt of the snow itself. Well, kind of the northeast corner, if you will, the quiet corner of the state is looking like they could get the highest snow totals. Although, again, each model I look at, it wobbles it a little, 20, 30 miles east or west. So.
I would imagine that's kind of why you over-prepare, right? Is because those models weren't so predictable in the beginning and just coalesce now. Now you're able to dial back if you need to, but you over-prepare.
Well, I'm certainly rooting that we've over-prepared, but yes, that's exactly right. The models have been, it's been a very difficult storm for forecasters to come to agreement on. In fact, one forecaster that I really like, he often calls them way out in advance, and more times than right, he nails it. Even it was a couple days ago. He said, "Look, I'll tell you on Sunday what it's going to do on Saturday." So it's been that type of storm, and that's why, like I said, on Monday we reached out and started bringing the crews in because we could see that it had the possibility to be what it looks like it's going to be.
Who's your favorite forecaster? These guys want to know.
I'll hold off on that. I like to watch them all. All set? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.